In today's video, we're reviewing a 2012 Audi A6 Quattro. Now the A6 is Audi's third most premium car offering on the market, sitting above the A3 and A4 models in terms of size, features, and price, and sitting below Audi's flagship A8 model. Now the A6 also has a sibling in the A7, which is basically just a fastback version of the A6. That model comes in at a significantly higher price point. Now the A6 has been produced in the US since 1996 and it just came out with a fourth generation model for the 2019 model year. Now in this video, this 2012 model that we're reviewing was produced from 2012 to 2018. Now, even though the A6 is now on its fourth generation, with production starting with the 1995 model year, the A6 has roots in the Audi 100 model, which dates back to 1968. So the A6 saw full restyling with the introduction of the 2012 model, which in my opinion gave the vehicle a more unique styling of its own, rather than being just a slightly bloated version of the Audi A4, although it still shares plenty of the design cues of that model. Now, while the previous A6 had a nice appearance, it wasn't until the 2012 model was introduced that I would have ever considered buying one for myself. With this new model, you get cool new LED daytime running lights and tail lights, great looking set of wheels on the higher end Premium Plus and Prestige models, like this model, and in general, a more sophisticated and modern design. The new A6 also has a substantial mix of aluminum, comprising 20% of the total body and suspension, which helped drop 66 pounds from the previous model, despite adding plenty of new features and safety enhancements. So just as Audi's made a really nice progression in terms of design on the exterior, the interior of the A6 is the same. And the way that Audi's able to combine a really sporty style with luxury is just impressive in all of the interiors throughout their vehicle lineup. And really, in a lot of ways, Audi's become kind of the benchmark automaker in terms of just really nice, refined interiors. You can see just the attention to detail with the high quality wood inserts, the stainless steel accents, just everything about the vehicle has a really nice, high quality, premium feel to it. Now the previous version of the A6 had a really nice interior as well. And it was impressive when they came out with this new version, how they were able to just continue to push the envelope and continue to expand upon what they've already done and create an interior that was even nicer than what they had previously. One of the unique features on the interior of the A6 is that it was one of the first vehicles on the market that offered a heads-up media display here. So we've got a smart key in the pocket, so by pushing this button we can turn the vehicle on. This guy's gonna pop up, and then the other cool thing is that these speakers on the dashboard are recessed in the dashboard, and those pop up as well when the vehicle is turned on. So it's got a really nice premium look and feel to it. Like I said, this navigation screen, having it pop up like that, although that's becoming very common on vehicles, when this was introduced in 2012, that was kind of a new idea. Some other features that we've got, through this navigation screen, you can control pretty much all of the vehicle functions. So you can control a radio, media, whether you want to connect your phone through Bluetooth or an MP3 player, navigation, telephone settings, again for Bluetooth. That's all controlled through the center display. Obviously, we've got heated seats, it's got ventilated seats, tri-zone climate control, so you can control climate in the front of the vehicle, and then the rear passengers have the ability to control theirs as well. Of course, the vehicle comes with a sunroof. We've also got blind spot monitoring on this model. So by pushing this button, you can turn the blind spot monitoring on and off. That little guy on the mirror will light up when there's a vehicle in your blind spot, and if you turn your blinker on, it'll start flashing more rapidly to warn you about the possible threat. This version of the A6 also has the Bang & Olufsen sound system. So this feature where the tweeters pop up out of the dashboard is strictly on this version of the A6, which has that system. The base versions would not have that. Now by turning the vehicle back off, we'll see if those recess back down into the dashboard, and there they go. The rear seat of the A6 is very spacious and luxurious. You can see here on the center console the temperature control for those rear passengers, and there's more than adequate legroom and headroom. One of the nice things about the A6 over the A4 is that it really becomes fairly spacious in the back seat for those rear passengers, while in the A4 model it can be a little bit cramped. The trunk of the A6 is also very spacious, and when compared with the A4, this is one of the real improvements, is just that additional cargo capacity. In addition to being a very spacious trunk, the rear seats can fold down so you can get larger items into the vehicle. And then this little center door on the center seat here, that folds down, and there's a ski bag that protrudes through the back seat of the vehicle, so you can still use those side seats, but you can have skis going through the vehicle. So with the 2012 model of the A6, there were two engine options to choose from. You could either get a 2-liter 4-cylinder turbo that had 211 horsepower, good for a 0 to 60 time of 6.1 seconds, and an EPA rating of 25 miles per gallon in the city and 33 miles per gallon on the highway. With this engine option, you could only get front-wheel drive, although later versions of the A6 were offered with this same engine in all-wheel drive configuration. The other engine option to choose from was a 3-liter 6-cylinder with a supercharger that had 310 horsepower, a 0 to 60 time of 4.6 seconds, and an EPA rating of 19 in the city and 28 on the highway. With this engine option, it was offered only in all-wheel drive with Audi's Quattro all-wheel drive system. Now for the 2013 model year, Audi also began offering the S6 model, which is a sport iteration of the A6. With that option, you got a 4-liter 8-cylinder turbo with 420 horsepower and a staggering 0 to 60 time of 3.7 seconds. With that option, it did come with all-wheel drive and an EPA rating of 17 in the city and 27 on the highway. Now for the 2014 model year, Audi also began offering a 3-liter 6-cylinder TDI diesel that had 240 horsepower, a 0 to 60 time of 5.1 seconds, and an EPA rating of 25 miles per gallon in the city and 38 miles per gallon on the highway. That model, however, was discontinued after a few years when it became evident that Volkswagen and Audi were cheating on emission testing, which basically concealed the fact that these vehicles were producing as much as 40 times over the legal limit of nitrous oxide emissions. The base price on a 2-liter 4-cylinder front-wheel drive version of the A6 was about $49,000 when these were introduced in 2012. Upgrading to the 3-liter supercharged V6 with the all-wheel drive Quattro system would put you at about $58,000, while a fully loaded version of this vehicle could quickly reach close to $70,000. So I've owned 7 different Audis and currently have a 2013 Q5, which has the same engine that this vehicle has. And I am a huge fan of Audis for many reasons. Beyond the great styling that they have on both the exterior and the interior, they offer a really nice package in terms of a sporty, luxurious ride and great handling. Now the Quattro all-wheel drive system is one of the things that really sets Audi apart from its competitors and makes them a very capable vehicle in really any condition. And I live in a northern climate where we have a lot of snow and ice, and I spend a lot of time driving up into the mountains to go skiing and get the opportunity to put these vehicles to the test on those conditions. And it's amazing how well they perform. And while a lot of people will make the assumption that a truck or an SUV is really the way to go if you want good performance in snowy and icy conditions, I would argue that a vehicle like the A6 actually far surpasses anything that you're going to get in terms of a crossover, an SUV, or a pickup. And the reason for that is that it's a sports sedan. And so you think about vehicles that handle really good in just dry conditions, and something like the A6 is going to be one of the best vehicles in terms of really good handling on those dry conditions. It's got a low center of gravity, it's got a pretty good weight distribution between the front and the back, and all that translates into really good handling on dry conditions. Then you throw in that all-wheel drive system, and it's got the same capability that you get from a truck or an SUV in terms of that power transfer to the pavement, and it all results in really good handling capabilities in snowy and icy conditions. Now, the only thing that is perhaps an argument against that is if you get in really deep snow, because you don't have a lot of ground clearance in something like the A6, that's one area where it is going to fall short a little bit compared with a truck or SUV that's going to have slightly more ground clearance. As long as the road crews are out there plowing the roads, however, you're going to be better off in something like the A6 than you would be with a truck or an SUV. Now, in addition to the handling on the A6 being really nice, other performance measures, it also really performs at a high level. In terms of steering, you have a really nice, clean, clear connection with the road. The steering is very precise. The suspension in the vehicle offers a really nice compromise between sport and luxury. And so while going around corners, it feels very sporty. It's got a nice firm ride. At the same time, going over bumps and imperfections in the road, it's got a really nice, smooth, soft ride. Part of that is that it's got really great, comfortable seats. The cabin in general is really nice. It's a very quiet vehicle, not a lot of road noise or wind noise. So that 320 horsepower sitting under the hood really translates nicely into a fun vehicle to drive. I actually have that same 3-liter V6 that's in the A6 on my 2013 Audi Q5, and I love that engine. I've had 17 cars in my life, and of all of those vehicles, the Q5 is by far the most fun to drive. And that translates very nicely into the A6, given that it's got a lower center of gravity, better weight distribution, and is just going to handle better than what you're going to get in a crossover. All translates very nicely into a really nice sporty ride. So overall, Audi did a really nice job with the refresh of this 3rd generation of the A6 model, creating a really competitive vehicle in its segment. If you're in the market for an upscale, large sedan, I would strongly recommend that you consider looking at the A6. And with that, I would also lean toward getting that 3-liter Quattro model. The Quattro system is really what sets Audi apart from its competitors, and it makes for a very capable vehicle on snowy and icy roads. In addition to that, I've got a 2013 Q5 with the same 3-liter supercharged V6, and I love the engine. I've been nothing but impressed in terms of the performance and fuel economy. It really just makes driving a lot of fun. With that said, if you've got any comments or questions on the A6, leave those in the section below. For more car videos, subscribe to my channel, and in the meantime, thanks for watching.